This is Omar Ahmed for IFL TV in association with MTK Global in Newcastle. Pleasure to be joined by Al SIESTA, smart looking Al SIESTA, as ever.
As
How
always.
are you, sir?
I'm very well, man. Thank you very much indeed. Welcome to IFL TV.
Welcome.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the first time for me on IFL ever.
I thought you said welcome to me.
You're welcome as well, by the way, yes.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here for a Matchroom show, and I want to touch upon your relationship with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. Anyone who comes to a Matchroom show will see you buzzing around fight week, constantly on the phone, stressed out. What is your exact working relationship with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn?
Matchroom is my family, first of all. This November I'll be celebrating, quietly by the way, no one knows about this. I'll be celebrating 5 years since I made the first match for Matchroom. It's more, I respect Eddie Hearn. He's one of the strongest promoters currently in the world. But it's all about my relationship with Paul Reddy. Paul Reddy is a good friend of mine, a man who believes in my expertise, and we have a very close connection and similar outlooks on matching and boxing in general. So Eddie been really kind and kind of allowing us to be artistic and do whatever we want, basically, with matchmaking. And I think the cards are looking very strong, and Newcastle is another one, really. But Matchroom is my family. We're working for a long time, and they're a very reliable company. And I learn a lot from Matchroom when I work with them.
So for people who don't know, Paul Reddy is the matchmaker at Matchroom.
Yeah, I think he's more than matchmaker. There's Eddie, the Frank Smith, the hardworking guys, and then another hardworking freak is Paul Reddy. So they're all freaks in that company in terms of working ethics. So I work very hard, so I can relate to those people very easily. So it's easy to find the language, the same language basically, of hard work and dedication.
How does the culture differ within Matchroom, obviously a UK-based company, now expanding into America as well, compared to a circuit that you know very well in Europe? How does it differ?
Very much so, because Matchroom actually, if you compare that, is like a Swiss oiled machine. It's like a Swiss watch. It's everything is so precise. Everyone knows what they do and their role. The transport, logistics, matchmaking, the fighter management, the event management, the social media, impeccable. Everywhere I worked before, there are some companies who are kind of good, but no one anywhere near on that level of expertise. Hence, they're doing that well. I can officially tell you they are the strongest company in terms of organization.
No, that's big praise.
100%. There's no one like them.
Okay.
I haven't worked with Top Rank, by the way, so I don't know. But I'm sure it will be slightly different. They are impeccable.
Top Rank, you mean?
Matchroom.
Oh, no, yeah. Top Rank, obviously, a huge promoter.
Very, very strong promoter. I've been to United States a couple of times, and I work there. I don't know how they work. But in Europe, Matchroom are very strong.
Okay, interesting.
I learned a lot. This is like a manual for me. I get inspired. Everything from their production, fighter management. I'm a promoter myself, the manager as well. So this is a great expertise for me, and a massive luggage in a positive sense of that word. So,
did Luther Clay enjoy his experience on a Matchroom bill in Italy?
Fantastic, yeah. We were quietly confident. I'm grateful to Paul Reddy and Eddie Hearn for the opportunity again to showcase Luther's talent. Great. He delivered what we needed him to deliver. Now he's potentially on another very big bill. So, yeah, there's a time when you need to shine. There's a one chance you get in life. You need to come up with the goods. And I think Luther kind of fulfilled that situation. He had that chance on Sky, on DAZN, and he's shown what he can. If this would have been a different brand of gloves, I believe, not Leone or something like Everlast, MX, or even Rival or Grant, that would have been different result. That guy, Italian guy, is very durable. The gloves didn't help. They were slightly puffy, amateur kind of style gloves. You see, that's why it was a bit. That's why I only had 2 knockdowns.
Okay, it's an interesting division Luther's in. Domestically, we've got some very hot names at the moment. Where do you see him currently, and could he be facing some of the names that Matchroom have got in the near future?
Currently, I can see Luther exactly in the place where he is now. Potentially 2020 he can face Conor Benn at the end of the year. And
do you think that's a fight Conor Benn needs or would take though?
It depends how well Luther's profile grow. If it grows very well and he become renowned on the circuit as a good up-and-coming welterweight, definitely, because Conor's profile is really high. But at the end of the day, boxing, what the boxing is all about is about fighting. It's not about your Reebok deal or how good you look. It's all about fighting, really, at the end of the day, you know. And don't get me wrong, Conor Benn can fight. So is Luther Clay. But they are too young, both young, to face each other right now. It's pointless. So in the year's time, hopefully, when Luther will be a well-known television network fighter, I don't want to say Sky Television, because you never know. Life is funny. It could be anything. We could be offered some big deal tomorrow. But I'd love him to be a Sky fighter. So therefore, there's another young, talented prospect in Conor Benn. So yes, Conor Benn will be a next logical pot of call. Not Josh Kelly, because Josh Kelly is David Avanesyan, is slightly older guys, more experience, and so on and so forth. So Conor Benn probably the closest thing to Luther Clay in terms of profile and the fight. Not mentioning Mike Mackinson and people like that, obviously, with MTK, who are very good fighters as well. Mike Mackinson knows Luther very well. They sparred many times. And he's WBO rated as well. You never know. So the landscape is open.
McKinson's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Actually, not many people mention his name. Very awkward, good fighter. Got some good wins under his resume, but not the most known welterweight, I think it's fair to say.
No.
But it's interesting you mention him. You've got a card coming up in St. Petersburg, am I right in saying that?
Yes, it's really crazy. I mean, last minute. I mean, the card is coming up on 14th of November. I took my measuring tape and went to St. Petersburg the other day. Just took a plane from Luton Airport, measured the arena, measured the height.
So you went all the way to St. Petersburg just to measure something?
100%. Just have a couple of meetings to speak to the lighting guy, speak to the local federation to see how good it is. Just check the hotel people, see the conditions. I really like the venue. It's 900 capacity, little azimuth hotel in the center of St. Petersburg. So, yeah, that's where my venue is. The main event is Edward Troyanovsky.
Who's coming to Newcastle
tonight?
Yeah,
he's coming to Newcastle tonight, by the way. I really
reckon we could grab a word with him?
Definitely. I mean, his English is limited, but we can help. And I said to Eddie, to Troyanovsky, come and meet Eddie. Come and meet Big Eddie. So it will be nice. So Eddie meets Eddie, you know. So it would be nice, because you never know. I wanted him to see Ritson against Robbie Davis Jr. Because it's a really big light welterweight fight, or as we say, super lightweight fight. And Edward Troyanovsky is a super lightweight. So we'll see what's going to happen. But Eddie is fighting on my card.
Well, if he wins, I think it's in 4 weeks, you said.
He's fighting actually Josef Zagradnik, the guy who fought Conor Benn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's in a month's time?
Yeah, exactly 4 weeks today.
Right. If he wins that fight, you're going to push Eddie to make the winner of Ritson and Davis Jr. to fight him?
Man, there's an open landscape. It's Ricky Burns, the probably loser of this fight between Ritson and Robbie Davis Jr.
Obviously, Ricky's got to beat Selby.
Yeah, correct. There's Ahara Davis. There's few interesting names. You know, I mean, there's English boxing is really highly developed, so there's never lack of opponents. Do you agree? And so that's the good thing about it. You know?
Well, yeah, to be fair, the winner of Saturday night is actually going to be mandatory. It's an eliminator, isn't it? I don't know, is it final eliminator or just an eliminator?
I'm not sure, but that's a crazy idea.
For Taylor Prograis.
I think the levels are different, in my opinion.
A lot of people would say that, but if it's an eliminator, it's an eliminator.
Yeah,
so,
correct.
Perhaps the loser would be more sensible
for Troyanovsky.
Edward to box.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. This is the first time that I'm thinking he will face the loser. That's quite an unusual figure of speech, do you agree? He would face the loser.
Yeah, but it's still,
but that's what it is.
Because both guys have got good profile in the UK, so even if he does face a loser, it'd be good for...
There's no losers in boxing, really, you know, I think.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. It's just why I love sport too much. There's no losers or winners, you know. I mean, it's just... there's only one winner is boxing, in my opinion, you know.
I don't want to get this topic out the way. Very sensitive one. Patrick Day unfortunately passed away due to his last fight. Your firstly, thoughts and prayers and sort of blessings go to his family and his friends and his close ones. And I'm sure you share that same sentiment now.
I do share the same sentiment, although I don't want to be sounding odd. First of all, death is inevitable. And he died in the ring. He died as a warrior, and he died in the circumstances. I'm a firm believer in afterlife. So hopefully Patrick's soul is in a very good place right now, you know, in a good place. And he's a very humble kid. I spoke to David Diamante. David couldn't even talk straight about this. He gets all sentimental.
Because he's very close with
He's very, very close to Patrick Day. Patrick Day looks like a nice kid. He was very humble child, a very humble young man, a very humble fighter. Never used to sell tickets. Never used to trash talk. He used to be in the hard fights all the time. And he was a true, real warrior. And Ismail Aliyev, who is a good friend of mine, fought Patrick Day on the undercard of Isa Chiniev against Richard Comey. And I thought Ismail nicked the fight, but they gave just a narrow decision to Patrick. But just, it's a tragedy, but at the same time, if philosophically, let's hope Patrick's soul is in a good place, you know. And there's an argument about referee not being quick enough, or possibly he had some lots of hard fights, and the medicals, probably he needed some more MRIs or whatever it is. It's a speculation. I mean, at the end of the day, this is happening. The boxing is a dangerous sport, very dangerous sport. We get in Formula One, we get death, you know. In slalom and skiing, you get death. But people love this. They thrive on it. This their dream. They dream to fight, and they sacrifice. They go on the ring. It's a dramatic situation. It's like a Russian roulette. They play with destiny every time they step through the ropes. It's one punch can be a decisive factor. Still, if you take away the opportunity from the fighter to get into the ring and fight, they get depressed. The life not worth living for them. You know what it's like. So Patrick Day passed away in the circumstances that, this is a strange allegory the fighter probably can dream of. Definitely like Japanese warriors in the past. You know what it's like to die on the battlefield is a massive honor. So I'd say in terms of that, it's kind of, this is the divine kind of death, if you can say that. But for the family and the closest to him, it's a big condolences, and from me personally as well. So yes, it happens in boxing. It's very tragic, but unfortunately, you know, life goes on. And I think the commissions and officials and all of us in boxing professionals, we need to think not to forbid boxing and make it less brutal, or make it, or readjust the ruling. No, we just need to make sure that outside the game, we are ready to react as quick as possible, and things put in place like specific medical requirements and so on and so forth that will allow fighters to feel safer, you know, in terms of we need to help, and we need to kind of think of the ways, I don't know, that
more brain scans?
Man, there are some portable MRI scanners that have been released in Japan that it takes 1 minute to identify if there's a brain bleed. It's like a little computer screen, and like it's like a telephone. So you scan it right there. I think it's coming. It's coming. It's going to get better. I mean, obviously, these tragic circumstances recently with Santilan and Max Dadashev, and now Patrick Day, it's signed from upstairs for us to act and not forbid the sport, but make it safer, you know? That's what I'm trying to say.
You're correct. Maxim Dadashev was not too long ago. I think it was, what, August?
Very recently.
August of this year. So.
And also, obviously, we don't know how Patrick Day came to that fight. What was his hydration levels, and what was his MRI? When did he do MRI last time? MRI scan. Maybe he bled previously. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
We never know. But overall, this is something for us to consider and learn from it, and try to act, because it needs to be done.
Okay, just on a slightly lighter note, a fair bit of criticism has come towards KSI Logan Paul. Now, someone who works in the industry, would be interesting to get your views on it. If you had the chance to promote it, just like Eddie Hearn has had that offer to promote, and he's taken it with both hands.
Yeah, me too. I grab with both hands.
Wouldn't even think about not doing it?
Wouldn't even hesitate. First of all, undercard is very credible. We've got Billy Joe Saunders and people like, who else is on undercard?
Devin Haney.
Man, you see, it's a really high caliber fighters.
And then all the prospects like Nikita Barbie and
fantastic.
Williams. Yeah.
Look, if the guys are licensed and the Athletic Commission or British Boxing Board of Control, or whoever it is, thought that their level is good enough to get the license, fight is fight. Coming back to Patrick Day, KSI and Logan Paul as risking their life as much as Patrick they did. We just discussed this. It's a very dangerous game. So fair play to the guys already raising up to the occasion, and it's already, you know what that for? Not only for money, it's for the fans, for the profile, for the pride. This is entertainment. This is entertaining. Basically, we are spectators, aren't we? We're not in the ring. This is for us to be satisfied. So that's a serious commitment from both guys. In terms of boxing credibility, I don't know. What if it's going to be an amazing fight? I'm sure it will be an amazing fight. Fight is fight, correct? What do you think?
From a boxing point of view, I can't really make a comment because I've never seen them fight and it's their first fight professionally. So,
have you ever seen really boring, dull boxing fights where very skillful fighters were involved?
Absolutely.
There you go. What would you rather see? Real stalemate situation, Ahara Davis against Jack Cattrall, for example, or what's that other fight, heavyweight, Luis Ortiz against Malik Scott, or Matty Askin against Lawrence Akoli, or Cleverly against Bellew, or KSI against Logan Paul, where it's absolute fireworks. Tell me, be honest.
Well, the one with fireworks.
There you go.
I guess if you
had
a street fight,
yeah,
and two people fighting outside. I mean, the fights you mentioned
weren't
the best for boxing.
These are most and it is really dull. And you see, the problem is sometimes with spoiling. When the fight is really technical, it's understandable. It's for connoisseur. The connoisseurs understand boxing and say, "Oh, look at that switch," or "Look at that." But here, I like the fight, honestly. I don't want to big it up because people are going to say, "Oh, look at this dick, he's bigging up because whatever."
Do you think it's good for boxing though?
Definitely. It brings people who never would look into boxing ever, never would consider the sport. At least, it's almost like, "Dad, look at it, Dad, look at it, Dad, look at it. I'm busy. What is it? Oh, son, you really can draw." That's what it is. Do you understand? So
you've got young kids. Correct?
I've got 10 years old, yeah. So that's why I'm talking from my experience. Yeah.
Oh, that's what they've said about.
No, they said that they are interested. They are very interested, and they said to me, "Dad, what do you think about the fight? Is it a bad fight because they're not boxers?" But I try to get them into boxing because really, I want them. One of them, I want him to match already. I want to teach him to match. He knows all about box rec. He knows all about stars. He knows all about weight 10. He knows all about, and he just. Other one, they twin boys, like they're completely different. So one of them like music and piano and everything, but another one like very like a streetwise kind of kid. And he's kind of ready-made matchmaker, really. But he's saying to me, "What do you think of KSI against Logan Paul?" But the thing is, he never would talk about boxing. And this is the first time he talked about boxing. And the context of the conversation was mentioning those two guys. So it means they are pulling people in.
Do you think those people will stay though? I mean, you only need probably 1 or 2% to stay.
It doesn't matter. The people will be pulled in, and then people will decide. Depends. Obviously, Eddie kind of trading interest in territory because he will probably, if that will be successful, then there needs to be a continuation. And potentially, we are on the verge of a new format when you can have pro fighters. Man, in Latvia and Lithuania, I had events when I had MMA, kickboxing and boxing on the same ring, on the same night. Works a treat.
Really?
Yes, because there are people who don't like boxing but really love MMA or really love kickboxing. So there's a place for everyone on the event. And people, check this out, someone came for the kickboxing and saw an amazing boxing fight. He goes, "I actually quite like boxing." Or someone saw kickboxing and said, that's brilliant. So it's just opens people's mind. So we need to be open-minded about KSI and Logan Paul, I think. I like the fight. Actually, I'll be honest with you, a little guilty pleasure. I checked KSI and Logan Paul on YouTube, and I must admit, I spent whole evening watching their silliness and stupidity, try to understand psychology, and actually find Logan Paul quite amusing, and guy interesting, great businessman, great ambassador for certain things. Looking forward to that fight. Fight. Great idea.
Interesting to get that view on that fight. As I said, it's come under some stick So yeah, interesting to hear those thoughts. I want to round this off by asking about your fellow countryman, Sergey Kovalev. Goes up as the underdog when Canelo is jumping up weight class to 175.
15 divisions. Yeah.
Well, yeah, started off his career at 54, obviously. So it's a bit crazy to think he's the favourite, but you're dealing with a potential pound for pound number one in Canelo. Many people have him. How do you see the fight?
I see the fight. I'm going to repeat myself, and if I'm wrong, then it's just my personal opinion. Sergey Kovalev can stop Canelo Alvarez. This is my opinion. Wait for that impact to arrive on Canelo's face. Then the rain check will arrive right there. That's not to mention that Canelo obviously can overwhelm him in a close game, come close, come inside, rough him up with all this serious body work that he does.
We keep hearing about these body shots.
Yeah, which is with the mysterious body shots, which they are amazing. And just because tall Rocky Fielding gone down with a body shot doesn't mean that Sergey Kovalev going to do the same. Fantastic match, incredible fight. The size difference is overwhelming. Father and son, yeah, and you saw that size difference.
The head-to-head,
Man,
first one, yeah.
Just don't get me wrong. Kovalev can punch for the light heavyweight. He's a puncher.
Oh, he's a puncher.
He's not like non-punching guy. He's a puncher. Absolutely. At 175.
But I think it's fair to say he's not the killer he once was. Obviously.
Yes, but we can't say that he's deteriorated significantly either, because he just done demolition of Anthony Yarde. Imagine Yarde against Canelo. What do you say? That's a good fight. Yarde is very strong, very physical. That's a good fight.
Sorry, just to go back to Yarde, we were both out there in Chelyabinsk. Were you impressed with him? For kind of a professional novice, really.
I was impressed because, to be honest with you, I had a cliche in my head that Yarde is a really good-looking kid with fantastic body, very pretty face, who admires his work, loves himself, loves the hyper trainer in Tunde, who says, "Oh, lions in the camp, how great you are," and everything. But I actually saw a real man in the ring and a real character. And Anthony Yarde that night proved that he's a real fighter for me, regardless on the outcome. So now, when someone says Anthony Yarde fighting, I'm going to think, yeah, I want to watch it. He's a real fighter. Where before, I'll be honest with you, Anthony, forgive me, brother, I don't know you, we haven't met, we just shook hands a couple of times. I never took you seriously. You're too pretty for boxing, that's all. Same as Tony Yoka. I never took Tony Yoka as a heavyweight because he's like a model, but then the guy really can fight. So you get, it's great that we've got athletes like that who looks good and they can really fight.
Okay, but just back to Canelo-Kovalev. You give Kovalev a much more of a chance than general people.
Yes, I can't say I'll give Kovalev more chance than Canelo, but guys, I'll give it much closer than anyone does.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
You're not going to be there though in Vegas, are you?
No, because second we've got the show with Matchroom here. Anthony Crowley is fighting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm not that committed to come out next day and just completely exhausted, because 14th I've got my own show, and then 30th we've got Monaco, and then before Monaco we've got Liverpool.
Oh, quick one. A man you know well in Alexander Usyk, because you work with Bradis, and obviously when they fought you would have seen a lot of Usyk. He made his heavyweight debut the other night. Did you watch it?
Yes, I did.
What sort of impact do you think he'll make in the division?
Yeah, good impact. As I mentioned before, the only people I can imagine he will have trouble with is potentially Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder,
but Ruiz Joshua, because he's
and Ruiz potentially. So Ruiz, Wilder, and Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk could be potentially having trouble with. Ruiz is very fast as a heavyweight, can bang as well, great amateur. So that will be massive, like a stalemate kind of thing. And Deontay Wilder, too concussive, too crazy, too unpredictable. He's like a windmill. Do you know what I mean? So it's really, really hard. If you're going to get hit by those propellers, you never know what's going to happen. And
Tyson Fury is massive.
Tyson Fury is massive, and which I remember David Allen telling me something. He goes, I sat on the bench and I saw him sparring, and he goes, it was just about my turn to go in. And I'm thinking, right, okay, I'm going to do this and this. He's like a hologram. It's impossible. Anything you thought you're going to do just goes out of the window in the next 5 seconds.
So many people say that with sparring.
He said, it's impossible. Yeah. He's literally, the guy is so awkward. So fidgety, technical, intellectual, twitchy, any word you use, so awkward, so really hard man to beat. I mean, look, with Wilder, he just lost composure a little bit. He became a bit more comfortable, do you know what I mean? He just took his attention off, and that's why he got caught. He was cruising. He was making a Wilder a fool. Forgive me, Deontay. But that's true, you know what I mean? So, Usyk will do well. I mean, I would fancy Usyk against Joshua in the fight. Definitely, I would fancy. I love Anthony Joshua as an individual, really nice man. But, Usyk, Michael Hunter, dark horse.
Absolutely.
Dark horse.
Fighting Povetkin.
Hunter against Povetkin. I mean, I speak to Povetkin's camp. They said, can we get someone for sparring? And I'm a bit kind of scared for Povetkin, you know? But it's a good fight. One thing you can't take away from Alex is bollocks and heart. He'll be laying his life on the line.
Okay, SIESTA, thank you very much for your time in Newcastle.
IFL debut.
Anything you want to add? Anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, just who can I shout out? Guys, I love you all. Just enjoy yourself. Enjoy your life. Don't take things seriously, because one day it all comes to the end. Take care.
That's a lovely message to end
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Thank you.